Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ian as a Weirdo. So today I am going to be creating a pattern out of nowhere. And it's based on this hat right here that I made. I kind of just put a couple stitches together and made a kid-size, what I call the pumpkin spice latte hat. So, I had a really fun time making this. Very easy. I love this pom-pom with little accents of spice. So we're going to make a headband form for an adult size. And to do that, we are going to do a couple things different than, like, I guess, maybe you typically do. One thing to note is that this edge right here looks a little bit different because I did a chainless foundation stitch for single crochet, and I like this because it has more stretch to it, so it has longer wear, and for me, like, every time I make a hat with a chain, it never fits. So it always never fits. So we're gonna do this, and it's gonna have some stretch to it. So to do this, we're gonna start with a what is it called? Man, my brain is so mashed potatoes. Okay, so you're gonna have about a 6-inch tail for sewing in later, and you're just gonna make a slip stitch. Make a slip stitch however you want. No right or wrong way to do it, as long as it's a slip stitch. Next, you're gonna chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Also, I just want to preface this by saying I'm not the best at teaching how to do this stitch, so if you need some extra help, a lot of great videos on the internet. Just a heads up. So we're gonna go back through that first chain that we had, and you're going to yarn over, and you're gonna pull through. And then you're gonna yarn over, and you're gonna pull through just the first loop. So it looks like this. It feels very foreign and very weird at first. So basically here are all your initial chains, and then you have that one chain that we started working off of. But it starts to get really natural really fast. So don't worry, it does take a little bit more time than just chaining, but I think the results are worth it. Okay, so with that being said, so we have this right here, where we have our loop, and then we have our we have another loop coming through it. So you're gonna yarn over, and you're gonna pull through both the top and bottom loop. What's interesting about the chainless foundation stitches that you're actually working with the bottom side up. So you're actually working on the tail end, and then it'll flip eventually. Okay, so what we're gonna do, so if we look at the, I should have done this in the rainbow, that would have been a lot more helpful. So what we're gonna do is, if you look really hard, you can see that there are two tops of stitches, I guess of chains, technically. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go through the first one, the one closest to where we started, and you're gonna go, and you're gonna go through exactly 2 of the loops. So there's gonna be one that you didn't go through right here, right there, and you're gonna go through 2 of that first stitch. You're gonna yarn over and pull through just that one stitch, and then you're gonna yarn over, and you're gonna pull through just one again. Then you're gonna yarn over, and you're gonna pull through 2, and that is the stitch. So basically what you're doing what creates the stitch, as far as I understand it. I might be wrong. Please feel free to correct me if I am wrong. Is basically you're making it have the ability to stretch one chain. That is what we're doing. So if we want to do it again, so now we have two chains, one that the yarn is coming out of, and then the one before it. I mean, there's more chains before that, but we don't care about those anymore. We've finished those. We're ready to move on. So look at what your yarn is attached to, and move back one, and you're gonna go through two chains. Again, you don't want to go through all three. When I said two chains, I meant two strings, two pieces of yarn. Because if you go through all three, that's not how we want to, it's going to look really sloppy. So you're going to yarn over, you're going to pull through the first chain, you're going to yarn over, you're going to pull through the next chain, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through both chains. So what you're going to do is you're going to match or fit this to your head. So I'm going to see how many stitches I need. If things start to look a little like cramped and stuff like that, you might not be going through the right, I'll try to like troubleshoot a little bit before I let you free. You want to make sure that you're going back to the second from the working yarn, and then you also want to make sure that you do that additional chain. It's really easy to go through that yarn. Oh, splitting so bad. And then you yarn over, you pull through, and then you want to yarn over and pull through both. That's not what you want to do. You want to yarn over and pull through just the first stitch. And then you want to yarn over and pull through both. So it's kind of, the pattern is kind of yarn over, it's like pull through one chain, pull through one chain, pull through two. And like you just repeat that over and over again, and that creates a really nice stretchy foundation chain. So we're gonna have a multiple of 4 for our foundation chain, and so I'll tell you my multiple once I get there. So let's see. So you might notice my desk looks a little bit cleaner, although there's always gonna be like 50 million things. Like 50, 100. I was like, that's not a number. So I finished my multiple of 4. For me, it was 60. 60, sorry about the wobbly desk. 60 is what a lot of my hats come to, especially when I'm using the chainless foundation stitch. So I hope I showed you all well enough, because I'm not great at showing it. I'm sorry. But yeah, it should look something like this. Now the thing is, if you this hat looks best, or this project will look best if it's not super stretched out, but I feel like it's so much better when it's got a little bit of stretch to it, because it just, like, when you have a really tight chain and then you have these really stretchy stitches, you get this kind of like mushroom head thing, and sometimes it doesn't fit your head even though the pattern says it should. So I love using this this method. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1. I'm not going to connect my circle just yet. Chain 1. I was like, what am I doing? Sorry, my brain's a little mushy. So I'm going to chain 1, and in the same spot, I'm going to place a single crochet. This isn't like a super necessary step, but it's something that I did because of the tutorial I watched to learn how to do the stitch. So, so that's why. Then you want to chain 1. You're going to skip the next stitch, and then you're going to go into the stitch afterwards, so the 3rd stitch, and you're going to go in, and you're going to do a single crochet. Then you're going to do a chain 1, skip a stitch, and do a single crochet. And we're going to do that all the way down. Sorry, my yarn is literally just total carnage right now. So, a little bit of tension. Nothing that pulling on that big ball of yarn can't do. So, skip your stitches, and this will kind of help you identify where to place your puff stitches. So, I'm going to do this off camera, and I'll be right back. So now we're coming to the end of our row. So I'm doing a single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, and chain 1. Now we're going to attach to our other side. Make sure there is no twist in your chain. Once you come to the end of your chain, you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to go through this first stitch right here, and you're going to do a slip stitch. Now you'll notice that there is a gap between the two sides, and that's why we left that tail to sew up those two little sidey sides. So now we get to the fun part, and like I said, it took me a while to get the right tension and practice getting my puffs even. So if they don't look great at first, it's totally fine, just practice. So after that slip stitch, I'm going to do 2 chains, and we're going to use the holes we created as guidelines for where our puff stitch will go. So we're going to be putting 2 puff stitches in each of the places that we're putting the puff stitches, and the holes that we created by doing a chain and skipping one is going to be the determining factor. So so that's why we need a multiple of 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip this first chain space right here, and we're going to go into the next one. So if you count, that's 4 stitches. So what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over, you're going to go into that hole, you're going to yarn over again and pull through, and you're going to pull up just like that. Now, something that I didn't do at first that kind of made it really hard for me to keep an even tension going was that I wasn't holding these loops on this hook. So just make sure that you continue to hold them. Now, how many times you go through really is dependent on the yarn, the hook size, so just kind of feel around and see how you like it. I did 4 passes when I first did it, and I found it to be a little loose, so I'm going to go ahead and do 5. So that was one right there. We're going to yarn over again, and see how we're holding those loops nice and tall on our hook. We're going to go back in that same chain space, yarn over, pull through, and we're going to pull up again and they're going to get smaller and smaller as you go on, but you want to keep as much height in the beginning as possible so you get a nice tall puff stitch. So that was our second one. So we yarn over again, and then we go through the chain space, yarn over, pull through, pull up. That's 3. We're going to yarn over, we're going to go through, we're going to yarn over, pull through. That's 3, 4. I think that's 4. Actually 4. And then we're going to yarn over again, and we're going to go through, and we are going to pull up. So the difference between a puff stitch and a bobble is kind of self-sealing, whereas puff stitch kind of will just fan out if you don't put something at the top of it. So we want to make sure we seal the top of the puff stitch. So we're going to yarn over, we're going to turn our hook, and this can be a little difficult if your puff stitch wasn't very tall, and you're going to go through all, or if you are just, you know, trying to do this on camera, we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through. Damn it. And you're also going to pull through that chain where we started. So we've kind of got things right where we want them, and we're going to do a chain 1. And that's going to kind of seal off the top of that. Doesn't that look nice? It looks like a little pumpkin. We're going to chain again to get us to the next space. And we are going to put another puff stitch in the same chain space that we put this puff stitch. So you're going to yarn over, you're going to go through, you're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull up nice and tall. And then you're going to yarn over and pull through. Sorry, my yarn is not having this. 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to grab our yarn, pull through all of those stitches, including that chain space. And wow, I really stretched that thing out, didn't I? And then we're going to do a chain 1. So that's how it should look now. And once we do our next row, we're going to be doing our puff stitches into this space right here. So it's going to give it that nice split look that is kind of like a puffy heart shape. So let me grab some more yarn. I'm sorry. This is my first tutorial. I think I'm not very good at it. What we're going to do is we're going to do double crochet in the next stitch. You don't have to worry about it being tall or anything like that, because as tall as these little guys started, they ended up being about the height of a double crochet, because that's what we did effectively. And then we're going to look at our spaces that we have, that we built into that second row or first row. And so we have this space right here, and we have this space right here, and then we have this space right here. So we're going to go into the second space, and we're going to yarn over, enter through the chain space. We're going to yarn over and pull through nice and tall. Remember, hold it nice and tight. I mean, you don't have to hold it tight. If you hold it a little bit, it's fine. It works out just fine. So we're going to keep on yarning over and grabbing more yarn. You should grab 2 loops every pass. So we're going to keep going until we get to 5. So that's 3, yarn over, there's 4, yarn over, enter the space, yarn over, pull through. And you can see that they're all about the same height, and holding the top really makes a difference. So we're going to yarn over, now that we've done our 5, and I'm going to get my tension right on my left hand, and then I'm going to turn my hook down and try to just go through on the first pass. Thank goodness. And then so we're through everything, including that chain space that we, or it wasn't a chain space, it was the end of a double crochet, sorry. And we're going to yarn over, and we're going to do a chain to seal that little puppy in. Isn't it cute? I love this stitch, it's so cute. And then we're going to do another chain, and we're going to put another puff stitch in that same space right there. So yarn over, pull through nice and tall, yarn over, go through nice and tall, 3, see how they get shorter and shorter, 4, yarn, come here, come hither, and then yarn over, and we're going to get that last loop right there. Yarn over, turn your hook down, pull through everything including the chain, so we have it nice and wrangled up, and then we're going to do a chain to seal the top of that little puppy right there. In the next stitch, we're going to do a double crochet, hey, I'm recording. It's okay, you can say hey, it's not a problem. I just wanted to let you know ahead of time. Look at this yarn, it's so, like, look how pissed off it is. So yeah, we're going to do the double crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to find that second hole. Should be 3 away. Yarn over, enter that space, and we're just going to do what we've been doing. I'm going to go a little faster. It's really easy when you first start out, especially if you're like me, who doesn't pay attention to things like this. It's really easy to forget how many times you've been through, so that is all muscle memory because I just made a hat yesterday. But definitely keep track of how many times you've been through, because you'll have like a big fat one over here and then a skinny one over here, and it'll look really weird. So we're going to chain another one, and then we're going to place, you guessed it, another puff stitch right next to it. 3, 4, 5. Now this one I rushed a little bit too much, and you can see that there are some pieces of yarn that are a little bit looser than others, and we don't want this. So this is what happened to me a lot when I began, and when I was first doing this stitch, and I just let it be. You can let it be, or you, if you kind of wanted to look a little sloppier, for lack of a better word, or you can undo all of your hard work because you were being a show off about how fast you were, and you can go back to that chain space and you can do it right this time. Come on, Ian. This is why I don't do tutorials. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to go through it. We're going to try to do 2 chains at the top, 1 chain to secure it and 1 chain to move us over, and then we're going to do a double crochet. So you're going to do that all the way around, and I will see you back at the end of the row. Okay, so we're getting to the end of our row. You can see how that foundation chain is not connected, so don't let that get all twisted in your head. Just kind of make sure that you know that this goes down here and not up here, otherwise you're going to be really confused in a second. Okay, so I just did my double crochet, so I'm going to find my chain space that I'm going into, yarn over, go into the chain space, yarn over, pull through, nice and tall, yarn over, chain space, yarn over, pull through. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you're going to yarn over, hook down, pull all the way through, chain 1, and chain 2. Then you're going to go in the same chain space, pull up, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull through everything, put chain space in, or yeah, it's a chain, it's not chain space, it's a chain. So next, what you're going to do is you are going to do a double crochet into that last stitch of yours. Then you're going to go into the chain space that's kind of holding together that first, the very first puff stitch. I was like, post stitch. No, that's not it. That's not it. So if you kind of pull down, you can see, you pull it apart, you can see that kind of anatomy of the stitch right in here. So you're going to go in, you're going to pull, yarn over, pull through, and you're going to pull through again for a slip stitch. Nice clean slip stitch right there. And then you're going to chain 2. And like I said, you're going to be putting your 2 puff stitches in between the previous puff stitches. So that kind of will tell you where to go. So you're going to pull up, yarn over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're gonna rotate your hook, pull all the way through. Same deal as the first row, so it's just a single one row. It's just a simple one row repeat. Now you just have to be able to say it, and if you can't say it, then you can't do it. No, I'm just kidding. So let me unfurl some of this yarn. Oh my gosh, it's such a mess. Okay, so we're gonna go into that same space right there after we did the 2 chains, and we're going to yarn over, pull through. Sorry, I kind of lost my brain for a second. How many is that? Let me count. Okay, that's 2. Sorry. 3, 4, 5, and you're gonna turn your hook and pull through all of them. Now one thing, so I'm going to chain 1 while I talk real quick. So one thing, you can see how it kind of split those 2 puff stitches apart, and then they look like a little heart, which is really cute. One thing you want to make sure is before you go super far, make sure in all of the places that you're doing your puff stitches that you have 2 puff stitches. Sometimes I put 1, sometimes I put 3. There's no rhyme or reason other than I'm not paying attention. So So make sure that you, because nothing's worse than like being on the next row and being like, oh, I have to frog all of this. Great. So you're gonna go and you're gonna do, so with that note, you're gonna do a double crochet on top of the other double crochet that you did. Just like that. And then you are going to yarn over, pull through, nice and tight. This is the space between these two puff stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you wanted to make these puffier or less puffy, you can adjust how many times you go through the loop. So it's really just about preference and what you want it to look like. So I'm going to put a chain to seal off that puff stitch, and then I'm going to do another chain, and I'm going to put some more puff stitches in. Come on. This yarn is so annoying. Pound of Love never ceases to amaze me at how much of a pain in the ass it is. I'm not counting. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so I did 4. So I'm going to go through and do one more. And then... So we're going to keep going all the way around. You're going to do your double crochets on top of your other double crochets. So it's going to be kind of like a column of double crochets and then a column of puff stitches. So we're going to go all the way around until we get to the end of the round, and then I'll show you what we do. So we're going to pull some more yarn out. This is not the worst yarn I've ever dealt with, but it's getting on my last nerve for sure. So let's make sure we pull out enough to complete our puff stitches. Sorry, it's such a nightmare. If you can see, like, all of it, it's really bad. Okay, so I just did a double crochet, so I'm going to go into the next space, and I'm going to do my puff stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a good time to choke up on the hook, which is kind of how I crochet, so it works out well. Okay, we're going to go in and do that other puff stitch. 3, 4. Okay, we're getting kind of tight. 5. Remember when I was talking about choking up on the crochet hook? Well, I didn't do it too great. But it worked. So we're going to go and do a double crochet. Keep your tension kind of normal. And then we're going to go in the next spot for our puff stitches. We're going to pull up nice and high. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 chains, and then go in the same spot. Oh, almost did a different stitch. Sorry about that. 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're wondering why I don't do tutorials a lot, this is why, because I'm just not that good of a crocheter. Okay, so I put the chain space on top of the puff stitch, and now we are going to do a double crochet on top of the other one, and that is the last stitch of the row. So what we're going to do is we are going to lay our hook down just like that. We're going to grab some snippies, whatever snippies you desire. You can have those snippies. Leave a tail for sewing or weaving, whatever you like to do. I'm going to burn this yarn. And then we're going to grab some white. Now you can grab white with flecks in it, you can grab off-white with sparkles. There's all kinds of yarn you can do, colors you can do for the top layer. Because this, you could do another layer if you wanted like a really thick headband, but I want to keep my headband a little bit thinner, and this is going to add quite a bit of bulk for the next row. So do whatever you want. I'm not your dad, contrary to popular belief. So let me grab the right end this time so I don't end up with another nightmare. Okay, so you're going to want a tail to sew in. You're going to take your crochet hook, you're going to go into that little space right here, this chain that you did at the top of the puff stitch, and you're going to loop your thread. This is yarn, not thread, whatever, who cares. And you're going to chain 2, just like that. So now we're going to switch stitches. From thus far we have been working with the puff stitch. It looks, I think, now you may want to do a puff stitch row, and that's totally fine. You can do whatever you want, like this is your project, so whatever. But I think the puff stitch looks best when it, I think the paired puff stitch looks best when it's split up. So I'm gonna put a bobble in between the puff stitch. So the bobble, you're gonna yarn over, you're gonna go in to that space between the two puff stitches here. You don't have to pull up or anything like that. You don't have to do, like pull it up like crazy or anything like that. You're going to yarn over, you're going to pull through, you're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through just 2 loops on your hooks. So you're going to have 2 loops left on your hook. You're going to yarn over, you're going to go back in that same space, you're going to yarn over and pull through. You're going to yarn over. I know this is going to be really repetitive. I apologize. It's just what the stitch is. You're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through just 2. So now you have 3. So you're going to kind of gradually build up until we have 5 loops on our hook. So you're going to yarn over, go through, and then you're going to pull through, and you're going to yarn over, and you're going to go through 2 loops. And you're going to have 4 loops on your hook. You know, one more, yarn over, push through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through 2. So now you have 5 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, and you are going to pull through all of those stitches. Now, so this is a bobble. Technically, we are working on the back side of a bobble, but these, fortunately, are very easy to manipulate. So you can just push them forward, and they'll have concavity instead of convexity. So you don't have to seal these like you did. See, like I can like let my hook down and the stitch doesn't fall apart. That's a big difference between a puff stitch and a bobble. So I'm gonna add a bobble above this double crochet. So I'm gonna yarn over, I'm gonna go through that space, I'm gonna yarn over and pull through. By that space, I mean the stitch. Yarn over, pull through 2, you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through that stitch again, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now you have 3. See how it goes up one at a time. And this yarn is not a giant knot, which makes me very happy. So yarn over, go through, and then yarn over, pull back, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. So now you have 4 loops on your hook. One more, yarn over, push through, yarn over, pull through, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through just 2. So we have 5 loops on our hook. 1 is from the previous bobble, and then 4 we did with all that work we did. So you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 5. And this is going to give that like foamy like look that I'm trying to achieve, I think. And like I said, you can just push them forward. That's kind of like more of a when you're done activity, but do whatever you want, you know, you make your own rules. So that's how we're going to continue the top. This is the top row of our headband. So we're going in between the puff stitches. So instead of just like collecting all, you know, use the Pokemon of stitches where you catch them all, you're gonna let go of 2 at a time. Once you do your yarn over, go through, yarn over, pull through, you're gonna yarn over and pull through 2. So you have 3 on the hook, yarn over, push, yarn over, pull, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have 4. Yarn over, push, yarn over, pull, and pull through 2. Now you have 5 on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 5. So see how cute that is? It makes me think of a pumpkin spice latte. How could I not? I don't really drink pumpkin spice lattes because they're not very good to me. But you know, I still think it's a cute stitch. So now we're gonna go into the stitch of the double crochet, and we're gonna put a bobble. You guessed it. So pull through 2 at a time. And I know I did that a little faster, but I got things to do. I got more pumpkin things to make. Yeah, amigurumi to make. So see how it's just like that? And you can kind of push them forward like that, and they're nice and puffy. But they're not puff stitches. Don't you dare. So find that space. Make sure you go through the right place. You don't go like directly through the stitch or something wild like that. So I'm gonna finish this stitch, and then we're gonna go all the way to the end, because I like when people cut to the end so that I can pause it and do it myself. Okay, 5 loops on the hook, and we're pulling through all of them. So let's get this done. Okay, so now that we're nearing the end of our headband, I'm going to continue to work. One of the nice things about doing the bobble at the top, or top, whatever, is that it's not a stretchy stitch, whereas the both the chain that we did, or the chainless foundation, whatever chain that we did is stretchy, and then the stitch with the puff stitches can also be quite stretchy, and you get a lot of this like this space, which like you don't really want. You want the cute little puffies. You don't want really this. That's not what it's not what you came here for, right? So this helps reduce some of the stretch. So you might want to play with different sizing of the band, just so you can make sure it fits on your head, because that's important. You made this. It's nice when it actually fits. So I'm going to finish off the row. Oh, I'm gonna try to finish off the row. As soon as I turn on the camera, I always make mistakes. Is anyone else like that? Or is it just me? Okay, we're gonna pull through all of those 5 stitches, and then we're gonna go into our last double crochet, and we're gonna put a little puff stitch right there. Okay, so now that we have, and this loose thread, you're gonna be able to pull that tighter, so that it's not so loose. So I pulled that orange thread that I cut earlier, and you are going to go into, why is my brain like not functioning? Okay, so you're gonna go into the top of that first first bobble that we did, and you're going to do a slip stitch, and you're gonna give it a little snippy snip. Make sure you leave enough to sew in your ends, and you can just pull that right on through. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to finish this off by sewing in this end right here, this end right here, and this end in here. So once you've done that, you have completed your beautiful, no mistakes, everything's flawless headband / ear warmer. Like I said, you could go an additional layer of either the pumpkin or the foam, and either way it would look wonderful. So for me, I like this ratio, so I'm gonna keep it as is. I'm gonna sew in my ends, I'll take some pictures, and I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. If you want to see another tutorial from me, let me know. I know this was not great. So I did my best, and I know you're gonna do your best, and we're all gonna have these ear warmers, and everyone's gonna be jealous. So I'll talk to you all later. Bye!